Yeah, fine, Anna. So, if you have any doubts, you can ping in the chat or you can raise your hand so that I will wait. And here, if you see, like the basic thing is like I will give you an idea how the project architecture will be. In generally, entire project will be divided into three sections, man, totally. So, sorry, the entire project will be divided into totally three sections, so that each section will define each end of that. So first section we call front end, so generally as you know, so this is front end. And the second section we have middle end, and the third section we have back end. Okay, so as you are already had these words front end and back end. And now come to the front end. If you speak about specifically, so that is only we called client, we call simply client missions we call generally. So client only we call generally, front end we call, so that means where the user can interact with the server. Okay, and generally in our missions browsers will act as a clients generally, because by using browsers only you can able to interact with the servers. Okay, but browser is a software, it doesn't do directly the interaction with the server. We should develop a document or a component called web page. So a web page which is will open in the browser, and which will provide a particular channel or a communication from server to end user. So that means we should create a web page, or we should design a web page where the web page will help you to communicate with back end to front end. I mean to say like server to client, and client similarly client to server. So this communication will happen once you are sending the request from your client page to server generally. So the middle end whatever we have, that is technically called as server generally. So this is we call server, and the server will always take the request from the client, and will process your request and will send the response to the client mission. And this particular client mission will communicate by the generally end user. So end user will be outside, so this end user will interact with this particular client mission, I can say that. So that means whenever you require some data, or whenever you want to send some data, then we will use a browser. In that browser, whichever server you want to communicate, respect to web page you are opening, like Google or Yahoo or Facebook, respect to web page you are opening, and from the web page you are able to see some data, you are able to fill in some data, and you are able to do some communication. And the particular client browser, client web pages will send some request to the server to get the response as requested by the user. That is the way how the front end communication generally happening. Okay, and now as a developer we should also develop this web page, or we should design this web page, so that the mission can able to show the respective web page to the end user or customer, I can say that. So to develop that website only, we are using technologies like HTML. So HTML is a very fundamental language which will use it to create the static web pages. And to the static web pages, if you want to give the styles like animations or colors or effects or anything, we will use the CSS. And to the particular styled component, if you do a basic interactions, we are using JavaScript relevant content. Okay, and nowadays even we have basic technology like CSS, JavaScript, but to simplify that work, we have many frameworks like Bootstrap and AngularJS and React.js, and these are all front-end frameworks, I can say that. So these are helping you to communicate from one what you can say that client to and the servers. But these are all technologies will keep you create the web page and will make the a dynamic web page, that's all. But it doesn't give a capacity to do logic at the server and to process multiple requests at a time. So whatever the HTML or JavaScript you are creating, it will process one request at a time, that is your front end page. Okay, And now even though if you store some data by using your JavaScript, yes, it will store, but in your browser only it will store. That is technically called as local storage. Okay, that data cannot be shared and that data cannot be stored in multiple places. That means if you I can say one example. If you go for Amazon or Flipkart without login also, you can add to the cart, but that add to cart will you can see in the your browser only. If you go for another system, if you open that items you cannot see. But the same thing, if you log in and if you add to cart it, you can able to see in the other machine, you can able to in the mobile also, you can able to see in tablet also, because once you log in, the data is going to be storing in you with your name in the DB, so that the data can fetch anywhere in the mission. So likewise, if you want to maintain the data in central database, a central place, so for that we require server. Okay, so to server also it is a mission again, as I mentioned, client as a like our mission, our laptops. Server also a mission which is having good capacity, good capability. But to run that server or to process your request in the server, again we should develop a web pages only here also. So that is we call dynamics logics, I can say that, or we can say that core logic, or this is also called as business logic. So this you need to develop at the server. So to develop this business logic to handle your request, we should write a logic in the JSP. Okay, you mean to say advanced Java will terms of JSP, but to understand or to work on the JSP programmatically, you should understand core Java. Okay, so whenever you want to develop any website in Java in basic level or in dynamic level, you should have two language knowledge. One is core Java, another one is JSP. These two components will help you to generate the a dynamic website. And similarly, as I mentioned in front end also, with JavaScript and CSS also we can do the front end work. To simplify it, we got some frameworks, right? Similarly, in Java side also we got some frameworks like Spring and Struts. So these are the two popular frameworks in Java which are commonly used in Spring. Okay. Now, whenever you are doing the server side logic, it is only for logic implementation, means coding, but it doesn't have the capacity to store or retrieve the data. So to do such kind of data operations, we require definitely one database. Okay. So database is main purpose is to store your data permanently in some way, so that the data can be retrieved on demand of the customer. Okay, so these databases again we have so many like Oracle, MySQL and SQL Server, like that so many are there, but all database ultimate goal is to store your data or to store your what we can say that information. So that we generally will store in the terms of tables. In generally all the data will be stored on table format where rows and columns contains your data. Okay, and now to this database, if you want to store it or if you want to retrieve, again we say the server has to send the request and server has to get the response. Okay, to do this communication, so here also same concept it will use, that is request and response. But here there is a small difference is when coming to the database. So database can understand only the language called SQL generally. So SQL is the language can understand or can communicate with the any database in real time. But if Java wants to communicate with the SQL, so directly it cannot connect. To do that communication, we are using a component called JDBC in Java. So JDBC is used to Java database connectivity, is a driver or is an interface which will help you to connect with your database. And to this extension, the framework which is given as Hibernate in real time. Okay. So this is all about your architecture level for your project. Just keep on line 1 minute. 1 minute, Nana. Hello. Raj. లేదు ఇంకా అందరూ వెయిటింగ్. న్యూ ఇయర్ కి బ్లాక్ చేసాడు ఇప్పుడు 4:30కి అలాగే వేస్తుంది ఈరోజు ఎందుకు వేయలే ఇంకా 7:30కి వేస్తుంది అనుకుంటా. జనరల్గా అయితే నేను లాస్ట్ టైం సెప్టెంబర్లో ఆగస్ట్లో కూడా లేక ఒకసారి లేట్ 7:30కి ఎయిట్ పడింది. ఏదో చెప్తున్నా. లేదు లేదు ఎవరికి అసలు రాలే రాజేష్ కూడా రాలే. రాజేష్ కూడా పింగ్ చేసాడు ఇంతకు ముందే. లేదు రాజేష్ కూడా రాలేదంట. రాజేష్ కూడా పింగ్ చేసాడు నీకు వచ్చిందా అని లేవదని చెప్పి. ఎవరికి రాలే ఇంకా. అవునా ఎవరికి లేదు ఎవరికి పడలేదు ఇంకా. ఓకే నైట్ 7:30 8 కల్లా పడవచ్చు నాకు తెలిసి. సరే, పడాలి లేదా టెన్షన్ పడాల్సి వస్తుంది. సరే అయితే బాయ్. బాయ్. So this is what we call technically MVC architecture or three-tier architecture or client-server architecture, Nana. So basically, whenever we want to develop any Java application, this flow will be used. So this is the flow what people are using to do the particular communication in the any application development. So likewise, if you want to develop the full-fledged one application, you should work on three areas totally. One is front end like designing, back end like database, middle end like server side logic. Sorry. And to work with this, what are the softwares we require generally? And in that case, so for front end, we require softwares like definitely browser. It is not none other like everyone has in its own system like Chrome or Edge. So no need of separately downloading. But when coming to the server, for Java, you require JDK. And for working mechanism, we will use Eclipse, and for server we will use Apache Tomcat. So these are the softwares which we are using generally in the Java side. And coming to the database, so open source database we are using, that is MySQL. So MySQL is open source, so that means we can use free of cost and we can use in the application side. So these are the softwares which we are required to work with our application development or to work with your projects. Okay. So this is all about the architecture what we basically used in your Java application development. And here some like if sometimes if you want to store the same data or the same what we can say that information in the central online database, I can say that. So at that time only the new word is coming, that is what we called cloud. Okay, so cloud is a place where you can store the data in terms of online. Okay, so whenever you want to store the data in online, we will use the clouds technology like any cloud platforms, AWS or Drive HQ. Some cloud platforms are giving free of cost and some cloud platforms are paid, but the data whatever we are using at that time, the data will be stored in the cloud. So like that the communication will be happen at that time. Okay, and in this database also generally we have two types in real time. One is relational database, what just I told you, that is tabular format, and also there is another tabular format, that is unstructured, or I can say that file format database like MongoDB. So where the data will be stored on the file format, or I can say that JSON format. Okay, but most of the college projects are real-time applications like maybe banking or maybe e-commerce. These sort of applications are all using relational only. Mostly Facebook or Twitter, these sort of applications are using generally Mongo along with the relational. So that is anyways a different story. But basically we have two types of databases, relational and non-relational. And we have a local DB and a cloud DB. Cloud storage also will be supported in generally. And coming to the database, if you want to communicate from the Java technology, we should understand either JDBC or Hibernate. Low level is JDBC, high level Hibernate. In our all college, our student level projects, we are using the JDBC, and high level definitely we are using Hibernate. And the same way, when we go for technical side, we are using JSP and Core Java to develop our projects. And while coming to a higher case, we can go for Springer struts. And come back to the lower case again. So here we are using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap as front end. And when you want to develop the separately front end application, so Angular or React also can be useful. So likewise for every technology there will be a frameworks and there will be a languages. Okay, so this is the way how the communication is happening one to another place. But this entirely is happening within the system aspect only. As an end user can only see the front end only. He cannot see the DB where it is storing. He cannot see the server how it is running. As an end user I'm speaking. Customer side is always looking the front end only. That's why how effectively if you design the front end, the customer will like your website. the data internally doesn't matter. So that's why even front end is also very important recent days. That is the reason even scope of the front end design has also increased. So as of now, this is the architecture what we follow for application development, Anna. So if you have any doubts, you can ping in the chat. I will clarify. Otherwise, I will go to the next topic. If you have any doubts, ping me in the chat box. Any doubts as of now, please ping me in chat box. Any doubts as of now? No doubts? Can you ping me in the chat whether you have the doubts or not? No? Okay, good. And is the language, is the class is understandable? Yeah, great, great. Okay, done. So in that case, I'm going for next point. So if you consider the our college level project, so basically we have different sections, Nana. So one is requirements, second one analysis, third one design, fourth one coding or implementation, I can say that, and then testing and submission, or I can say the demo. Okay, so these are the phases you may have in your college time generally as part of your internship or as part of your project what you are chosen. So requirements means the title, I can say the title selection, and as well as abstract understanding. So whatever the title you chosen, you need to understand what you are going to be doing as part of the application or as part of the project. At that in that case only you may for like understand what you are going to be delivering to the college or what you are going to be explaining. So be thorough about your requirements and intro about your project first of all. Once you done it, you need to start analyzing like whether we can able to finish it or not, whether you can able to able to express that project to your college people, and whether you can able to implement in your system or not, or whether that all software is available or not. So such kind of analysis you need to do. And the next phase, like you need to understand the scope of the project, I can say that the scope of the feasibility, so whether we can do or not, whether we can able to implement or not. So such all things will be doing the analysis, like understanding the requirements and categorizing the requirements, and hardware software setup, I mean that environment setup. So these all things we'll do in the design part, sorry, analysis part. Once analysis is done, once you fix it to take the title and start the project, you need to do initially designing of the application. So that means how it looks like, or how what are the things you are going to be doing, or what is your plan of approach of doing the project. So such all things you need to do in the designing phase. So designing is a kind of phase where you can analyze and understand what you are going to be doing, how you are going to be doing. So these 2 points you are highlighting in the design. So definitely once design done means you are ready with the implementation. So now you can start coding on the project by you choose any language like Java, .NET or Python, whatever you are more comfortable. You can choose one language and you can start the coding of the application. And once the coding is done, or once implementation of all the requirements or the functionalities what you committed at the requirement phase, if it is done, now it is time for testing or verify that whether really they are working as expected or not, or really they are what we can say that coming as expected or as for the UI design or not. So that is what we will did in the what we will be doing the testing. So once the testing is also done, then you need to demo your application to the client. In your case, you have to demo your application to your college people, because college people are the clients for your in your case. So once they satisfied, then that will be completed. Once they are not satisfied, again you need to do some modifications, or again you need to do some work on that, again you need to give the demo. So likewise, one how many, like how confidence you are about the project, or how confidence you are doing the project, so that makes sense to mode on the project, and make you comfort about the project. So before deliver to the college, or before deliver to your guides, at least you need to run the entire project at least 5 to 6 times or 10 times, so that the confidence will increase, and you can able to easily deliver the project, and you can maybe clarify all the doubts which are asked by your college people. So my suggestion is, before showcase your content to college, you have to thoroughly understand what is your project and how it is operating, and how each operation is going on. So that is very important. And also, as I mentioned already, like with your friends also, like if you really want to understand project technically, so spend some time with coding also. Like anyway, you have some time, good time, like there is a n number of videos on the YouTube, and n number of bloggers we have. So go through the some basic on Java, as I mentioned already, what are the things we require for our application. Like it's just spend some time for core job. Anyway, everyone knows that in your college time, but at least spend some time with JSP, how it is working. And also, like we will give you a brief idea on this also, definitely. But still, if you go inside more and more, you will better understand about it, and go some basics about HTML and SQL also. So that might give you a simple idea how the technology will work also. So maybe that might give you more fetch for your application development and application knowledge. Okay, so W3 schools, Java T point tutorial, there is a lot many websites are there, and YouTube channels are there. Just go through that and utilize it, and do as much as you can do the practice in this month, and you can present your project well and efficiently. Okay, so that is my humble suggestion. And coming to the how the project organizing and how the project is executing, that all definitely will take care, there is no issue in that. But still, if you have the confidence, then only you can more present on that. Okay, so that is all about the intro about your project session. So if you have any questions or any doubts, please ping me. Great, great. So in that case, like I have one question, like for installation of the software, are you people will come to the office on Monday? Will you do the installation, or else like through online? If I take the one class, and will you do the installation with your own? So what is your opinion on that? So if you are ready to come to the office on Monday to installation, it is a good thing, because if you install the software, so that the class what is going on parallelly, or after that class immediately you can start practicing on that. Otherwise it is not that easy. But definitely on Monday I will take the class for installations only. But still, if it is physically you are coming to the office, it's great thing to manage things, but it's up to you. But Monday I will take the class on how to install the all the things whatever I told you. Like anyway, browser is anyway, like you know that, like browser is like by default everyone has that. But along with that we require JDK, Eclipse, Apache Tomcat, and MySQL. These four softwares we require to work with Java. So that we need to install in our missions. So as per your decision, like as per your interest, you can take the decision. If you really wants to come to the office on Monday, you can come and start installing that all the stuff. And if not, I will teach you in the online class like Monday. So based on that you can install yourself by watching that video. And what are the classes I'm taking, I will record and I will share on the YouTube, and you can take that you can once again you can look on the videos if you require really. Okay, I will share the channel also. so where you can find all the videos, and today video also I will share with you. So if you doesn't have still any doubts, I will just close the session. If you still have the doubts, ping me in the chat. And the next class onwards, I will even allow you to do the what do you call it, speak out also. So at the time of creation, I block I mean that unaccidentally is blocked you all you to speak out. But in the next class, I will allow you to speak out. Okay, then in that case, there is no doubt. I'm thinking that thinking that there is no doubts. So we can close. I think we are good to close the session for today. And Monday we'll meet. But please, even we have WhatsApp channel, right? So ping me if you people are coming on Monday. Just ping me there. So I will tell the timings when to come. So you can come and do the installation of software. Okay. Take care. Happy weekend and wish you happy New Year. Thank you. Bye. Take care.